Portal of Africa and the Mediterranean, Algeria stands as a multifaceted country. A continent country surrounding the 2,400,000 square kilometers and endowed with a rich and varied geography spoiled by nature. The geographical and climatic contrasts are so striking that it is possible for some, at certain times of the year, to make a nosedive on a majestic, pristine coast, while others can ski at only few kilometers of a littoral of 1,200 kilometers long, a coast that has the virtue of remaining at a virgin state. The unique and fascinating Sahara embodies a whole universe. It is a touristic product of an unmatched value, which keeps on attracting tourists of all horizons in search of discovery and escape. But also to have the privilege of visiting one of the biggest open sky museums of the planet, which is bursting of cave engravings. Flying over the splendid golden dunes and green palm groves of Janet in the mythic Tassili is a feast for the eyes. It is as appealing to see the majestic mountains of Hogar with the Esikrem, a historic refuge, a place of pilgrimage, and a mount that allows the admiration of one of the most beautiful sunrise and sunset of the world. The Tassili and the Hogar, a unique desert and an archaeological and historical heritage belonging to the entire humanity. Furthermore, there are habits, customs, and millennial traditions that particularly show through parties and festivals celebrated annually, such as the festivals of Darmouli and Sibiba in Tamanrasset, which triggers the inflow of a considerable amount of tourists, but also and especially Tuaregs, coming from all the regions of Hogar and bordering countries. Janet, the capital of Tassili, also celebrates another festival, the Sibiba. It is a sacred party marked by dances and rituals where every gesture and pace given rhythm by ancestral chants is a code, a message pre-established more than 3,000 years ago. The Algerian desert is an immense territory encompassing several sub-Saharas that differ from one region to another. Ghardeia, or the Valley of Mzab, built in the middle of the desert more than 10 centuries ago, is a lesson of human adaptation to an arid climate, but also an iconic image for the architectural originality of their constructions and lifestyle throughout the Pentapoles, Ghardeia, Mlika, Bunora, Al-Atf, and Bni Yizgin, which is without a contest most mythic. Bni Yizgin has the credit of giving birth to Mufti Zakaria, the poet of the revolution, who wrote the lyrics of Qassaman, the Algerian national anthem. Timimoun, the capital of the Tuat and of the Gurera, distinguishes itself by its oasis, its habitants of Sudanese origins, by the ochre color of its sand dunes, and by its qsors that seem to grow naturally out of the ground of the same color. Teghit and Bni Abbas in the Sahara are other desert spaces with a golden sea of sand that characterizes the Big Occidental Erg. The circuits on the road of the Qsors and the oasis and other touristic circuits are products that highlight the diversity of the Algerian Sahara regions. They are also destinations privileged with a hotel infrastructure that keeps growing in response to the policies of the authorities that encourage the private sector, local or foreign one, to invest in the area of tourism, which banks on the renovation of the existing park in order for it to be in tune with the international standards of tourism. In the north of the country, there are big international chains established in the most important cities with a big touristic potential. Algeria offers sublime landscapes and an array of historical, archaeological, and cultural sites that transport us into a past millenniums old where different civilizations succeeded one another. Tipaza, Shershel, Timgad, Jmila, Tidis, Khmisa, and Gelma are cities with remains and monuments scattered around the east of the country. They indicate a Roman presence that may have lasted many centuries, when ancient Rome built hundreds of cities and forts. Amongst its prestigious antique buildings, Hippon in Annaba, where the Basilica of St. Augustine stands proudly. He was one of the most famous sons of Algeria, born in Tagast, Suqaras, and one of the most famous pontiffs of the Catholic Church. In the west of the country are other remains that can be traced to other civilizations that in turn had the destiny of Algeria in their hands, such as the Santa Cruz of Oran and its chapel that still witnesses a Spanish presence that may have lasted about 100 years. More towards the west, Tlemcen, the capital of the Zionites and home of the Arab Andalusian civilization, earns the title of the capital Arab culture. It gave Algeria an archaeological heritage that is cultural and historical as well as priceless, where different civilizations and dynasties that governed the area overlap, such as the imposing Mansoura, El Mishwar, and Sidi Boumediene.
سيدي بومدين جيتك قاصد أجيني في المنام نبرا سيدي بومدين جيتك قاصد أجيني في المنام نبرا سيدي بومدين جيتك مطينا مدينة الهوى وبلاد الريا.
Many Arab Muslim ancestral legacies are scattered all over Algeria, such as mosques that go back as far as the dawn of Islam in the area, like the Qal'a of Bni Hammad in Msila, as well as other monuments and vestige in the capital of the suspended bridges. Constantine, one of the most ancient cities of Algeria and even of the entire surrounding of the Mediterranean. It's a city of art and history. It was an important capital of Numidia, called Sitra, from the times of Massinissa, whose tomb is found at El Kharroub. In the Roman era, Constantine I gave the city his own name. It will become the city of the ulama, thanks to the work of art of Sheikh Ben Badis, whose name is closely related to this ancestral city, which was the second city of Algeria to be promoted capital of the Arab culture. The north of Algeria speaks of a long range of beaches and a coast that is many hundreds of kilometers long, which lends itself to all types of touristic investments and seaside resorts that are constantly flooded and overbooked, even in the presence of a much larger offer. From north to south, east to west, every city holds part of the history of a country, jealous and protective of its roots, its traditions, and on the other hand, committed in a battle towards modernity and technology, with 32 airports and a road network that is among the densest and most developed ones in the African continent, connecting the two borders east and west. Moreover, tramways in the biggest cities and a subway in the capital in full expansion. Algiers keeps getting bigger while still preserving the secular history of its historical sites and its monuments, such as the majestic Kasbah, written as a universal human heritage by the UNESCO. Ancestral mosques populate Algiers, such as Jami' Kechewa and also Jami' al-Kbir, overlooking the Big Blue Sea, as well as more buildings that make Algeria famous. It is a country proud to soon give birth to the third largest mosque in Africa. A mosque that could be admired from the Martyrs' Sanctuary, offering a panoramic view on the imposing building and on the Garden of Botanical Essays, which encompasses a big variety of botanical species, earning it the title of the Little Paradise. في غربة وحزن لعتو مرة يا مقواها الوردة البيضة ما بغاشي قلبي ينساها. Not far from the touristic resort of Sidi Fraj stands the International Center of Conferences that can host the biggest international gatherings, thanks to its different structures and modules, conceived through a modern and futuristic vision while preserving the Arab Muslim stamp. Today, Algiers is a big metropolitan city of the Mediterranean region in full expansion with a futuristic and modern architectural style. It has endowed itself with big international hotel chains that stand side by side with local brands, and some of which overlook the majestic Bay of Algiers.